Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesar Sportsbook. We are now here in Week 7 of the NFL regular season. Been kind of interesting to watch how things are starting to shape up. We've already had a coaching change. We've already...
yeah, right. That was weird.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting couple of days during last week to see exactly what's going on. We'll see how everything works out with that team, specifically my New York Jets.
Yeah, your New York
exactly.
Jets, Jets.
You
Before the season started, that was a big betting market. What coach would be fired first?
Yeah.
And not one person said Robert Saleh from the New York Jets. So,
that was a surprise.
That was a surprise.
And again, under Woody Johnson, he's never fired a coach in season, so it's just got some weirdness all the way around. It's been a weird season actually for the Jets. Anyway.
We were in New York when we heard about it, and it was like just shy. Everyone was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. Well, Jets are also having the first player on their roster to be fired by their agents. With that Hassan Reddick stuff going on.
Yeah, no, that's
just weird.
You did some weird stuff when your agent quits. So
there's a whole backstory to that one, but we won't get into that because there's more information coming out on that stuff. But it was kind of an interesting week to watch. It was kind of fun. It was actually we're starting to see a playoff picture start coming into shape a little bit. We're starting to see...
I'm not.
Well, we're seeing Dallas is a fraud right off the bat. Dallas is not a good team.
I'm more confused now than ever.
I'm seeing some good signs. Not only Chicago seems to be playing extremely well. Minnesota is still
the Vikings
undefeated. Yeah,
unbelievable.
So. But it's Eagles. They're a mystery to me. But
I don't know.
AFC East, I still think it's Buffalo. I don't see any change in that.
I don't know.
Now.
I don't know what's going on there. That's a very interesting area.
And San Francisco, I still have question marks about.
Sure.
But Week 6 was fun to watch. But
very interesting.
We are now moving forward to Week 7 here on the Pro Football Show.
Yeah, having a blast betting, especially betting with Caesar's lines. It's a great thing, and
As a matter of fact, since you just mentioned Caesars, we are here with Caesar Sportsbook. Caesar Sportsbook is going to be riding with us all the way through the regular season, through the playoffs, and even into the big game, otherwise known to the normal Joe out there, the Super Bowl.
I like we always say, we're not allowed to say Super Bowl, and how many times do we say Super Bowl?
Well, you have to explain it.
Yeah, why you can't say Super Bowl?
We can't say Super Bowl. We have to say the big game. So we're
the
actually
big game.
Yeah. So we're covering all our bases.
We should beep it out and just make it sound like we're cursing.
Yeah, that's actually not a
otherwise
bad idea.
known as beep.
Yes, but we have the big game. Caesars is going to be with us.
Absolutely.
If you head on over to Caesars.com/sportsbook-and-casino, Pike 1000 is our promo code. Go ahead and get the sign-up offer. If your first cash bet loses, you get it back as bonus bets up to $1,000. 21 and older, terms and conditions apply. If you know somebody who may or may not have a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER is the number for that issue right there. Always want to touch the responsible gambling. But right now, as we've been doing over the course of the show here, we've been throwing out some little facts and tidbits from the previous week's action.
Yes.
And
it seems like every week something that hasn't happened in decades happens.
Yes,
it's just odd. That's how weird this whole season has been so far.
And it's going to get weirder.
And it makes it interesting.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating to watch. Teams that are doing well. Teams you thought were going to do very well aren't doing very well. So that's what makes this very entertaining.
Well, we're going to start off. Our first fact comes from the Thursday night game of last week.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, San Francisco's 49ers' Deebo Samuel became the first receiver in NFL history to reach 20 rushing and 20 receiving touchdowns in his career.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. You have, this was interesting. Lenny Moore is the next one on the list, 13. Tavon Austin, remember him?
Oh, yeah, okay.
He had 10, and also Jerry Rice had 10.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, are the only other wide receivers to reach double-digit rushing and receiving touchdowns in their careers.
Okay.
Samuel now also has a reception of at least 50 yards or more in each of the last 4 seasons, which is an interesting streak in and of itself.
Yeah.
Next one. Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams threw for 300 yards the previous week against Carolina, and that was a stat in and of itself right there. He was the first Bears rookie quarterback to throw for 300 yards and no picks in a game.
Wow. Okay.
That was 2 weeks ago. Then he comes over.
You're really seeing his
maturity,
development, and it's amazing, especially in the London game.
Yes.
Did he do something special in the London?
That's what we're going to do.
Okay, he did. Okay.
Going over to London, this was his game. It was only the third time. It was only the third time in Bears history that a rookie quarterback has thrown for 4 touchdowns in a single game.
Wow. Yeah.
Unbelievable. That was the last time that happened. I can't believe I didn't even know this. He was in the record books. Cade McNown.
Wow. All right. Boy.
That happened in 1999 against Detroit. That was the last time a rookie quarterback threw for 4 touchdowns. Cade McNown.
I'm trying to think of the last time I heard the name Cade McNown. So, okay. Weird.
How about this?
See, that's how weird this season has been.
Well, here, I'm going to go into another little cubbyhole with this stat. And I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, so I apologize. Ray Bolvid. He has the record with 5 touchdown passes as a rookie quarterback in a December 1937 game against the Chicago Cardinals.
Wow. Okay.
1937, that's the record. 5 touchdown passes in one game by a rookie quarterback.
Jeez. Okay.
Yep. Staying in the
That was almost a different type of game, though. And by the way, it wasn't a passing game, too. That's what makes it more spectacular.
Exactly.
When that 1939?
1937.
1937?
Yes.
I mean, the only quarterback I heard coming out of that era was slinging Sammy Baugh, and he was almost credited with doing the inventing the forward pass. But no, it's interesting to hear someone else doing it, too.
Staying in the NFC North, since we're just talking about the Bears here.
Okay.
And the NFC North after Week 6.
Wait. Let me think of what you're going to say. At least, I know 5-0 for the Vikings. I would guess all of them have 4 wins.
Yes, that's exactly.
Is that what you're going to say?
That's exactly it.
Except the Vikings who have 5-0. What a fantastic division that is. It's amazing.
First time since 1970 which every team has at least 4 wins through the first 6 games. 1970. That's another 54 years.
It's incredible.
So. Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry had a big day. It was the 20th time in his career he rushed for 100+ yards and multiple touchdowns.
Okay.
Second time in 6 games since joining the Ravens.
I got to tell you, he seems to be making milestones every week. It's just
he also has been in the league a while too.
I know, but the week before I won the game he was playing in because he had over a 50-yard run in overtime. So I'm a big fan of Derrick Henry. So
he's
good for him.
He's the 4th player to reach those single game thresholds. Mm-hmm. Jim Brown, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Emmitt Smith all did that as well.
Wow. Okay.
Sunday was also the 39th consecutive game that Baltimore has rushed for 100+ yards.
Wow. Okay.
So keep that in mind for your fantasy as well as your betting.
Yeah, boy. Okay.
So that's kind of a...
well, I guess that takes in consideration the rushes, quarterback and running backs. Everything. Yes. Okay.
They broke the tie they had with the 1935 to 1939 Lions.
Wow.
For the 3rd longest streak in NFL history.
When we're referring to people like the quarterback and the teams back in 1930s, you know that something special is happening in the NFL.
Well, they're actually approaching their own record because the 2018-2021 Raiders, that 3-year period, Ravens, I'm sorry, and the 1974-1977 Steelers all have 43 game streaks.
Wow.
Of 100+ yards.
Sure.
So they're 4 away from breaking tying their own record. Last 2 for the segment here. Patriots started their new rookie quarterback there. Took him off the shelf and put him in the game against the Texans.
Yeah, did some very bad things and some pretty good things.
I think they may have gotten a decent quarterback. We'll see.
Hopefully he grows. Hopefully the team puts some stuff around them so we can actually, you can never win in this league if you're going to have 4 turnovers, 3 from the quarterback and 1 from the tight end. I think he fumbled.
Well,
Hunter Henry,
Mr. May became the first quarterback since at least 1950 to throw 3 or more touchdowns and lead his team in rushing in his first start.
Wow.
So that's a nice NFL history mark for his resume. Right
yeah,
there.
No, I don't think
he was running for his life.
I don't. These were not designed runs because they, defensive tackles were in his face all day. But
And last stat for the week: from coming out of Week 6, Jared Goff.
Which, that's one of the games I won on.
Fourth player since 1970 to complete at least 80% of his passes in a 3-game span, while also throwing for 800-plus yards and 7 touchdowns.
Well, let me tell you something. Even the when they were playing last Sunday against Dallas, I mean, his receivers were wide open.
Yes.
Just absolutely enormous amounts of space between them and the defenders. So
he's in good company. Drew Brees did that in 2018.
Still had to get it to him. Hats off to him, but it's he wasn't threading needles.
No, but Drew Brees did it in 2018. Phillip Rivers did it in 2013, and Peyton Manning did it twice, 2013 and 2008.
Nice. Okay.
Those are the stats for NFL Week 6. We're going to be going into Week 7 here. Like I said, we always do the pick segment where we look at a couple games each. Might as well run down the rules right now before we go to break. We're going to be working with Caesars.com, Caesars Sportsbook lines, midweek lines when we do this. 3 games each. We choose either games by point spread or totals. We don't do money lines. And
we both did pretty well. We're competing against each other. Did we tie last week, or
we both went 2-1?
Both went 2-1.
As a matter of fact, on the season standings,
because the Giants and the Bengals refused to try and score points, I took the over in that one, so that's the one I lost.
That's asking a lot of those two teams right
now. But my God, I took the over in the Dallas-Detroit game, and I won big on that one.
Yes. There were a lot of 70-point totals.
No, it was. And by the way, most of the points were scored by Detroit. I thought it was going to be kind of an evenly matched game, but apparently I was wrong.
But right now, season standings, you are now at 500. You went 9-9 with that 2-1 and I'm 11-7.
All right. Okay.
I got a little bit of a lead, but there's still a long way to go in the season.
So what? You got a 2-game lead on me, huh?
Yes, I got a 2-game lead. Okay. Just a small.
That's why we do it. We're competing against each other. We do our picks and we give our thoughts about it. If you want to follow us, that's fine. But I'm really competing against Doug there.
And we'll be right back with our Week 7 outlook for the games. Again, this is Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. We'll be right back after this.
With costs going up, Adam and Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry. You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Here we are in our pick segment.
Yep, Week 7.
We just finished up going through factoids from Week 6. They're getting more and more interesting each and every week.
Sure, it seems like something special is happening in the NFL every week. So
yes.
It's a fun season to watch so far.
Well, here we are in Week 7. We're here. Caesar Sportsbook is presenting our lines and odds here. They'll be riding with us all the way through the season, regular season, playoffs, and also the big game at the end of the NFL season. There, Caesars.com/sportsbook-and-casino. Head on over there with Pike 1000. You'll get a special sign-up offer of if your first cash bet loses, it will be returned to you as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply, 21 and older. If you or someone you know may or may not have a gambling problem, they're not sure, head on over to 800-GAMBLER for problem gambling help. This week, this is how we always do it. I have a 2-game lead on you, like I said at the end of the last segment. And we're here in our pick segment. This is how we do it. We use Caesars Sportsbook midweek odds. I'm having trouble talking now all of a sudden. Caesars Sportsbook midweek odds. 3 games each. We're playing against each other. Right now, it's point spreads and also totals. We do not use money lines for the 3 games each during the show here.
By the way, before we get into the picks, you mentioned, that big, long website. You also mentioned casino. I'm having a blast on the Caesars Sportsbook, but I'm also having a great time on Caesars Casino. I'm here in New Jersey, so it's, we have online casinos, and Caesars is one of the best online casinos, too. So I'm having a lot of fun playing on it.
And make sure you hook in your Caesars Rewards loyalty card to get the tier points so you can actually enjoy more activities on the online side as well as in the real world, the brick and mortar side.
Get the full Caesars experience.
Yes.
That's what you have to do. So.
Well, with all that being said, let's head on over to game number 1. First game of the week for me, Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's favored by 3. There's an over-under of 51 as we're taping this. And as always, check the lines before you place your bet. Some may, some don't change before kickoff. Mm-hmm. But we're doing midweek lines, so always check the lines before placing a bet. Now, we've got a Seattle team coming into this game here on a 3-game losing streak, which kind of sucks. They're playing an Atlanta team that's on a 3-game winning streak.
A couple weeks ago, how'd they lose against the Giants? Really, it's amazing. So
I try not to think about it, but that's why I kind of avoided Seattle all season long. Mm-hmm. But here, Atlanta's getting the home 3, and I don't know why, because Seattle seems to not be the type of team that would be able to compete with Atlanta the way they're playing. You've got Kirk Cousins playing like everybody thought he would be playing at the beginning of the season. You got actually a pretty darn good defense in Atlanta. They actually put something together there on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, they're on a 3-game winning streak. They're playing extremely well, but they're only getting a 3-point nod here at home here, and it's kind of makes me think something else is going on. Which, all that being said,
well, first off, Seattle's a pretty good team. I mean,
they are not a good team.
Geno Smith has been playing a lot better than people thought he'd play.
Well.
So.
No, I've lost confidence in Seattle.
Okay, all right.
Which, regardless of whichever Seattle team shows up, I'm looking at the total here. The over is 3-0 in Atlanta's last 3 games. Same record in Seattle's last 3 games, 3-0 for the over. The over is also 8-2 in the last 10 meetings between these two teams, and the over is also 2-0 when Seattle is on the road. Mm-hmm. All that being said, and when you have a 2-0 over for Atlanta when they're home favorites, it's a trend that I gotta ride, especially the way Kirk Cousins is putting up points. So I'm doing the over 51 in the Seattle-Atlanta game.
Okay, my first game is the Philadelphia Eagles, who are favored by 3 points against the New York Giants with a total of 43. The Giants prevented me from going perfect last week, so this is where I get my revenge. And this week, listening to the Philadelphia media, I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Browns last week, and the players, the coaching staff, the fans are angry about how they played, and I love that. And they're going to be playing angry. Look, the New York Giants are just terrible. The Giants have lost 3 straight home games and have lost each of their last 4 games played on the East Coast. And while we're on the East Coast, the Giants have failed to cover their last 3 Sunday games played on the East Coast. Daniel Jones, I mean, he's making throws that a professional football player should not be making. He threw an interception last week. It was straight up in the air. It was just a jump ball. It was terrible. But I think he's going to make a costly mistake this week. I mean, the Eagles are playing angry, and I think they're going to win this one by at least a touchdown. And look, the loss last week, you expected the Eagles to blow out the Browns, but let's be honest. The Browns scored a touchdown on a freak block field goal, okay? And then the Eagles won the game, kneeled down to close out the game deep in the Browns' territory. So that score could have easily been a different score. I know, woulda, shoulda, coulda. But look, it wasn't as bad as it felt afterwards. When you look back at the tape and the highlights and things like that, and plus, you had this full complement of receivers last week, and they were just getting acclimated, and so I think the New York Giants are going to run into an angry Philadelphia Eagles team, and the Eagles are going to win by at least a touchdown. So I'm taking the Eagles.
Well, I have to admit, I don't know which side I have less confidence in, Daniel Jones as a quarterback or Nick Sirianni as a coach. I just don't have confidence in either of those.
Nick Sirianni just has to calm down.
He's got to be a little less in your face with how he acts.
You would think he didn't like the Eagles fans booing. Yeah. The Eagles fans boo everything. They booed Santa Claus. Yeah. block that out. I mean, if you're listening to if you're listening to fans, you're going to end up sitting with them.
Yes.
So, he's just got to calm down, do his thing, and just block out the fans.
Well, let's head on over to our second game of the week. Second game of the week for me, Carolina Panthers at the Washington Commanders. Washington's favored by 7.5 points. There's an over-under of 51.5. Washington comes into the game 4-1-1 ATS, 4-0-1 ATS in their last 5 games, by the way, which is very impressive for this team. They're 2-0 straight up at home, by the way. I'm very impressed with their quarterback, Jaden Daniels.
I think
he's already playing almost like a veteran. There's still some burps in his game, and it's just impressive that he's actually been able to master a lot of things in his first year that takes some quarterbacks 2-3 years to master. I mean, I watched one of the games game last week. He went up to the line. He started changing plays at the line, which was actually pretty cool to see for a rookie quarterback.
It's amazing what good coaching does.
Yes.
I mean, he's in such a good situation there, and good for him. So I think I think Washington's going to be a threat in the NFC East for a while now.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, but looking at the other side, we have Carolina. Carolina comes in 1-5 ATS this season, and outside that Las Vegas Raiders game, they really haven't been able to put too much of a fight on the field against a lot of their opponents. Like I said, I think Washington's going in the right direction with the team they put together. It's good quarterback play, good coaching, complementary football, all 3 parts of the team, the defense, offense, and special teams, all working well with each other. It's making this team a more complete team than I've seen in years, which is really nice to see. The Carolinas allowed the NFL worst 203 points this season. Yes, and the defense is close to the bottom in all different categories. Same goes for the offensive side of the ball. From time to time, they do pop up with an offense here and there, but even with Andy Dalton back there hasn't been much difference other than the Raiders game. I really think Washington should be able to come in, put some points up, play some good defense. Carolina is Carolina right now until something changes in the entire structure of that team. I went against them. I went with them one time. Here, I'm going against them. I'm going Washington and laying the 7.5.
That was an interesting game. Is just a little too many points for me. So, but I love the way Washington has been playing this year. My game is going to be a fun game, by the way. Houston Texans versus the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are favored by 3, and the total is 47.5 points. Like I said, this is going to be a fun game because both of these offenses can put up points. Last week, the Packers put up 34 points against the Arizona Cardinals and had 430 yards in the game, which is the offense couldn't help but move the ball. And this season, the Houston Texans have given up 20 points in 5 of the 6 games that it's played. Now, in some of the books I've looked at, I've seen the total start at 46.5, and right now at Caesars it's 47.5, and this is one of those games you kind of have to keep looking at to see if for me the total changes. I'm going with the over 47.5 points because I think this one may change. It may go up a little bit, but I'm taking it at 47.5. I'm taking the over in this game because I think it's always a fun game when you think points are going to be scored, and I think points are going to be scored on this one. So over 47.5.
All right, let's head on over to the last game of the week. Final game for me, the Detroit Lions playing the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 2.5 at press time here.
A lot of great games this week, isn't it?
Yes, the over-under is 50 points. By the way, the over-under, the total has gone up since I was looking at this game. We're midweek here. I started looking at this game when it was 49.5. It's ticked up to 50 even.
Wow. Okay.
But that really
what was the spread on this game?
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
So it opened at 2.5. It stayed at 2.5 right now so far.
Interesting. Okay.
But
see, I was looking at this game too.
Yeah.
So,
but the NFC North could be the best division in football right now. Matchup between what looks like to be the 2 best teams in the division as well.
Sure.
Which is really cool to see. You got Jared Goff. He's passed for 607 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions over the past 2 games. Detroit basically dismantled Dallas last week. I've never seen Dallas look as bad as that. Maybe that Green Bay playoff game last year, but Dallas just looked like they couldn't figure out anything there. Minnesota's had a bye week after its London game, so they've been they're rested. They're coming in. Vikings, although are undefeated, they're a top-ranked defense. Their offense hasn't been as explosive as it has been in the past here. You've got the Lions. They just lost in the Dallas game their best player possibly, Aiden Hutchinson. He's gone. He represented half of the team's total sacks this season, which is a big blow to that defense.
That was awesome. That was awful to watch.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely awful to watch.
That's why I was skimming over it. That's why I was skimming over it.
Yeah, boy.
But right now, I don't know if that's going to matter here, because I think Detroit's offense and Detroit's defense may be too much for Vikings defense and a mediocre offense by the Minnesota Vikings.
Goff is playing out of his mind.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Like I said, 607 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions over 2 weeks here. I think that continues. I think Goff has found his rhythm. I think that offense has found its rhythm. That defense, I'm confident they have other schemes that, while they are going to miss Hutchinson, I don't think it's going to play too big of a role, because I'm starting to think Sam Darnold is starting to come down to earth. After even though they beat the Jets, he did not play well in that game. And I think we're going to start seeing the Sam Darnold slide happening.
Well, look,
let me put my pick out.
I'm hearing a lot of things that Sam Darnold, a lot of people, have a lot of tape on Sam Darnold now, so they've been modifying it, and
he doesn't adapt well. That's what I learned when he was at New York. So, but like I said, I think he's going to start coming down to earth. I think that comeback player of the year, or the player of the year stuff that they've been talking about, I don't think that's going to happen for him, to be honest with you. I like him as a quarterback. I like him as a quarterback.
That is the stupidest. One of the reasons people give comeback player is what? You're coming back from sucking year before?
He doesn't actually qualify for that.
Come back from an injury, or come back.
He doesn't qualify. He really doesn't qualify for that award, because he's not coming back from an injury.
Well,
that's what it was for.
But last year I remember Geno Smith. They were talking about a comeback player a couple of seasons ago.
Well, that was after he broke his jaw.
Well, yeah, but you're coming back from sucking. That shouldn't be.
But going back to the game.
Okay, guys, go back to the game.
Like I said, I think this is going to be Detroit upset here. I'm going with Detroit and taking the 2.5. Detroit plus 2.5.
All right. My final game is going to be a really good game, too. Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers, who right now San Francisco is favored by 1 point, and the total is 47. This is a weird theory of mine, but I'm thinking, when else can I bet on Kansas City when they're an underdog? Let's be honest. I mean, certainly they don't look like the exciting Chiefs that we've seen in the past seasons, but they still get the job done. I mean, this game is going to be very close, and at crunch time, you can't bet against Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's when they're at their best. Unfortunately, the 49ers are not very good at that time of the game, so I think this game will eventually come down to the defenses. The Chiefs are playing at a high level on the defensive side and of the ball, and the 49ers are just coming into this game a little banged up, and I don't think they have a defense like the Kansas City Chiefs had. And as always, I think Mahomes is going to come out at the end. He'll do something incredible. He'll flip the ball under his hand, and he'll somehow end up in his receiver's hand. So I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter. It's going to be a great game, I think. And hey, I think the underdog Kansas City Chiefs will actually win this game. So I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, those are our 3 games this week. This is the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesar Sports. We'll be right back to wrap up the show.
If you don't have final expense life insurance, this message is for you. LifeCare provides valuable information about whole life insurance to help cover final expenses, medical bills, burial costs, and other final expenses. A final expense life insurance policy is fast and available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exam, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral costing $9,420 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses. Your premium will never increase. Your policy will have a cash value and a death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense life insurance with a lifetime lock, call 800-601-9488. That's 800-601-9488.
Sign up at jackpot.com and you can bet on the world's best lotteries where the biggest jackpots are up for grabs. Powerball, Mega Millions, some of the biggest lotteries can be found at jackpot.com. Simply choose your lotto game, pick your numbers, or use their quick pick feature, and you're done. Sign up at jackpot.com with code DRAW24 and get a free lottery ticket with your first deposit. Jackpot.com, it's the world of lotto in your hand.
Terms and conditions apply. You must be at least 18 years old and in the United States to play. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesar Sportsbook. We just did our 3 picks. We also did our factoids from the previous week's game, and kind of interesting to see everything starting to develop like we've said at the beginning here. But here we are, end of the show. And what do we do at the end of the show? We actually recap what our picks were in the previous segment. So why don't you go ahead?
All right, my first game, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 3 points favorites over the New York Giants. I am taking the over 47.5 points in the Texans-Packers game. And I'm taking the underdog, Kansas City Chiefs, who are 1-point underdogs versus the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm taking the over 51 in the Seattle-Atlanta game. I'm going Washington, laying the 7.5 against Carolina. And I'm taking the underdog, who really shouldn't be underdogs in this game, Detroit Lions, plus 2.5 against the Minnesota Vikings. Those are our picks for the week. As always, when this show is released, they'll be up on the blog in written form, turnpikesports.us. Click on the blog button. Feel free to read those when at your leisure. Please also feel free to comment as well. You can also comment to us, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. You can also follow us on social media. We've got Instagram, Turnpike Sports Radio. We've got X, Twitter, whatever you call that stupid thing. Turnpike Sports, Turnpike Bets. We've got 2 on there, so please follow both of those. And also on Facebook, Turnpike Sports.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike. Good luck, everyone.